Hey, what's up? It's Comic95 the Savior, and once again, I'm going to be replying back to a very stupid comment that I received. Please excuse me, I am not looking my best right now. I need to brush my teeth, I need to remove my makeup, get ready for bed. I have my moo-moo on, y'all, like, I just got home from work. I'm tired, but I couldn't help but notice that I received a stupid comment, and I was like, you know what, I should just ignore it, leave it in spam. I was like, no, I'm gonna waste time and reply to this and make some money off of this. I will never understand, why do people act like YouTube is not a free platform and like we don't live, or most of you that are watching my content, in a free country in which nobody's holding a gun to your head and forcing you to consume content that you don't want to. And I should also remind the majority of you that while yes, every once in a while you get a randomly thrown at you video, 99.9% of the time the videos that you see inside of your feed are based on videos that you have one, searched for, two, that you've previously watched. You're not just being shown random shit, which means that if you're coming across things that are triggering you, it means that you've watched similar content, which means that maybe I'm not the problem, but you are. Not to mention that if you feel like going berserk and crazy and, you know, you lose your shit when you see somebody that has a differing opinion from you, like you find it so hard to stomach and listen to it, two things. One, don't watch it. Two, maybe think about why their opinion is different from yours. Like, I know that especially like from an American perspective, we're not alone in this, but I'm speaking on the US because I'm an American. A lot of you guys, both liberals and Republicans, you guys live in echo chambers and bubbles. You all like to listen to people that feel the exact same way that you do about topics, and that's all you consume. And when you do listen to differing opinions, you have already made up your mind that the differing opinion is going to be wrong. You are not truly listening. You do not have an open mind. You're not really listening to understand. You're listening to debate and to argue. So anyway, you've come to the right place. This person stupidly left a comment in which I can't tell what they were offended by or which way they were siding on. So I made a video a few years ago and it's titled Monogamy is Bad. And I don't know if this is one of those dumbasses that like read the title and didn't actually watch the video, and thus they didn't understand that if you watch the video, it's not actually about monogamy being bad, but rather I'm replying back to someone else that was saying that it was. But I know that a lot of you guys have comprehension skill issues and short attention spans. And look, I left to blame it on TikTok like I normally do, but to be honest, this has been a problem since before that. Many people have an issue where they can't listen to stuff, but they love to write shit. And so it's like, I said this before, if you're not going to watch the content that I put out, why the fuck do you think that I should read your comment and reply back to it? Or anybody else for that matter. Just think about that. Not to mention, you're making an ass out of yourself. It's the equivalent of, I know that a lot of you guys like didn't go to college, I can tell, but I'm going to give you this example anyway. It would be the equivalent of, or maybe high school, you guys did this too, right? You have to write a book report, right? And at the end of, the book report, whatever, the teacher asks for you, to raise your hand and share what you read about. And instead of actually reading the book, you just decided that reading the title was enough. You raise your hand and you decide to speak on the book as though you actually read it yourself. Let me use the infamous To Kill a Mockingbird. As I said before, you be in for a surprise if you think To Kill a Mockingbird is actually instructions on how to, in fact, kill a mockingbird. Okay, that's how dumb y'all stupid bitches be looking when you leave comments based on titles, because you clearly did not watch. And beyond just watching a couple of minutes or a few seconds, because most of you don't even do that. You see a title, you go into dog mode, and you immediately act like a dog seeing a squirrel, and your brain is like, okay, let me click on this video, leave an angry comment, even though I didn't watch it. And sometimes you'll leave a positive one, and with your positive comment is actually disagreeing with what I talked about in the video, because once again, you didn't watch it. This is really magical thing you could do. When you don't know what the fuck is going on, you can shut the fuck up. You don't have to talk. You don't have to give your opinion. You don't have to write a comment. You don't have to even click. You can live your life in ignorance. If you want to be blissfully unaware and stupid, that's okay. But please, for the love of God, if you're not going to watch, you're not going to read what's already written, don't leave a comment. You just make yourself look really stupid. Because if you were to raise your hand and talk about, oh yeah, well, you know, I read the book To Kill a Mockingbird, and actually it's pretty easy to kill a mockingbird, and you just need this, you would sound really dumb, right? Okay, well that's how you sound when you leave a comment on my video when you didn't watch the video, because your comment normally shows that you did not watch it. Or if you did watch it, it's very obvious to me that you didn't actually listen to what I had to say. Your brain was already made up from the moment that you clicked and you decided you're going to stand on that hill, even though I disproved everything you had to say with both facts, personal experiences, and opinions. You've already decided this is the truth, this is a lie, etc. You just make yourself look stupid. So anyway, let me go ahead and get to what they said. I want to read their username because their username makes the comment even funnier, but I'm not going to because you don't deserve the clout. But okay, they said, more of this. What I and my partner do doesn't affect you. If we are both happy and want it, what is it to you? I don't judge your lifestyle. Do your thing. Have fun. Please leave me alone while doing it. Thanks. I'll give them props, even though it's sarcastic. Alright, fine, you didn't get nasty with it like how a lot of people do. But do you not realize that your comment is not clear? Are you on the side of monogamy, or are you on the side of open relationships and poly? And I'm not going to go into all of the different terms because, like, I know there's different words for poly, whereas the girl has 2 guys versus the guy has 2 girls. I don't give a shit which way you choose to go with it. All of those relationships are all fucked up. And at the end of the day, they're all really the root of a couple of things. 1, lust. And 2, a matter of having low self-esteem. There is nothing... No woman in her right mind would want to be with a man that's openly with multiple women. Unless you're using him. Which again, we're not talking about gold digger relationships and whatnot. And then in reverse of that, especially as a man, if you are okay with your girl having multiple men, something is wrong with your self-esteem. Or once again, you're using the person. Nobody wants that. That is equivalent of like being in an emotionally abusive relationship. Sure, there could be other good qualities about the person, but realistically, while there are other good qualities about the person, are you truly okay with being emotionally abused? No, but you like the fact that this partner has money, so you're ignoring the emotional abuse. Okay, well in this case, your partner cheating on you does not make you feel good. And yes, it is cheating. There's no such thing as consensual cheating. Cheating is cheating. Consensual cheating means that you're not in a relationship, because this is how I see it. What is the purpose of being in a relationship if it's not going to be exclusive? What is the purpose of being in a relationship if you don't plan to get married? That's literally what the end goal is supposed to be. I'm not going to get into all this politically correct liberal bullshit where we start talking about, oh, well, everybody doesn't have... Shut up. Stop. What's next? We're going to say, well, just because you have a job let's not say job, career, doesn't mean you have to get paid. Some people just like to work. Okay, well then that's called volunteering. No, it's not volunteering, it's a career. Okay, well that's what you sound like when you try to pretend like having a relationship that has no end in sight. In other words, meaning that there is no goal to ever get married. You just fuck each other. Okay, well then that's your fuck buddy. Y'all using all these little stupid terms like, oh, my partner. And it's so funny because you're indirectly telling on yourself. I made a video on this already that I have not edited and uploaded yet, but you're telling on yourself that you even recognize there's something wrong with being in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship as an adult after so long, because you all start to prefer to use the word partner. Why? Because it doesn't tell you whether you're married or not, and it implies that you could be married, but that it could just be a boyfriend and a girlfriend. If you really feel like what you're doing is morally okay and there's nothing to be ashamed of, call them your fuck buddy, call them your sex friend, call them your long time 12-year long, 10-year, 5-year long boyfriend then. Call it what it is then. Why not do that? Right, because y'all know that there's something wrong with it. Right? Because otherwise, why are you afraid to call it what it really is? Why are you trying to use these indirect words? I mean, this is the best way I could put it. It's like when you have like an ugly friend and they ask, oh, look at my key. Oh, you're a really nice person. Or like when or you ever been around somebody ugly that was like feeling really down, and it's like you can't be honest with them and say, yeah, bitch, you are ugly as fuck. Yeah, nigga, you 5 feet tall. Ain't no bitch will ever want you. You can't directly say that. So instead, you compliment other things. In fact, one of the best ways to tell that you're ugly is when people constantly highlight the other great qualities about you, but they refuse at all costs. They avoid talking about your physical appearance. Okay, this is literally like the exact same thing. I will never understand why people are trying to, in fact, I kind of already know why. It really comes down to women. A lot of women desperately want to be married, but they recognize that based on how they look, their situation, children, past issues, whatever, their baggage stops them from getting the type of guy that they want. So instead of acknowledging the fact that they want this, they've convinced themselves, I don't need marriage. I don't need, whatever. I'm okay with being a long time fuck buddy and, just being passed around and ran through. They convince themselves they want the same thing that men want. And that makes them feel better. And it's really a matter of pride. You're not satisfied with being in an open relationship. And don't get me wrong, fine, I get it. You're young or maybe older. You've gone through trauma. I can get wanting, I've been there, done that myself, being honest. I can get wanting to sleep around and have fun. I'm not suggesting it. I'm just being honest. I've done this myself. Okay, I'm speaking from experience. I totally understand. I'm not going to play dumb and act like I can't relate to you guys and get on my high horse. I'm just telling you, I can also be honest and admit that was not me doing and pursuing what I wanted. That was me not having high self-esteem. That was me being hurt and having a traumatic response to being rejected, to being heartbroken. And a lot of you are just too prideful to acknowledge that. You're a baby mama, and you recognize that the type of men that you want don't want you. So you've convinced yourself, oh, we need to get married as long as we're boyfriend, girlfriend, as long as we live together, as long as he still comes home, as long as he sees me, as long as he's with me, whatever. Right. Same thing for men. You really like that girl, but she has no interest in you. So you've convinced yourself, well, I have a micro, so I'm okay with her, sleeping with other men to get satisfied. No, you're not. You're not. You've just accepted the fact that because you feel like you cannot please her in bed, that this is as good as it's gonna get. So you've convinced yourself that if I want to be with this girl, I have to be okay with being cheated on. And same thing goes for women. You've convinced yourself, if I want to be with that man, I have to be okay with him never wanting marriage. I have to be okay with him infinitely cheating on me. And y'all don't want to admit that. Another thing too I want to add is that when you're telling the truth, it doesn't give a fuck about your opinion, your feelings, etc. And you also don't need the public's approval. I've said plenty of things that have offended people. And you want to know what? I don't give a shit because I'm telling the truth. When I talk about negative things dealing with liberals get mad. When I talk about negative things dealing with Republicans get mad. They get offended, they lose their shit, they can't listen to you anymore. Instant dislike. And you want to know what? If you really feel like your opinion or your facts are so true, so right, then why does someone speaking something that's negative and wrong get to you so much? Why do I have the ability to get such a reaction out of you? If you are so positively sure that you're right, why does my differing opinion matter? Ask yourself that. Why does my video bother you so much if you really feel like open relationships and poly is okay and there's nothing wrong with it? Same thing with people that, are trying to convince you that you don't need a degree. If you really feel like it is much better to not go to college, why does someone making a video telling you that that's not the better way to do it bother you so much? Let your own life speak for itself. Show other people that are successful like you, according to what you have to say. If you feel like what you're saying is right, just prove it and live it. That's exactly what I did. I showed you how I literally can just go to Japan yourself. Get a management position. Shoot, you can even stay in the US. You will always struggle significantly more without a degree versus with one. Because without a degree, you normally need tons of certification, tons of job experience, and there's tons of catch-22s. A gazillion amounts of, networking. It's like all the work that you're putting in, you might as well just gone to school for 4 years. And then, even after putting in all that work, you are still going to be less competitive than somebody with a bachelor's degree. Especially when you consider, experience matters more. Right, but did it ever cross your mind and occur to you that people that get degrees also tend to do the same shit that you're doing too? So now not only do they have the degree that you don't have, but now they're also pursuing the experience that you're doing too. So if I'm going to choose, do I want to hire somebody that has a degree in experience, or somebody that has a certificate in experience, or somebody that has a degree in experience, or somebody that just has experience? I'm just saying. Now, granted, there's going to always be the exception to the rule, but generally speaking, most people are going to go for the person that has the degree. Okay. Now that we have that out of the way, I don't have to argue with you about it. Do I do it? Sure. But I don't need to. I don't have to get in my feelings over. And I tell you guys every time that I've made a video responding to that. Like, I already have mine. Like, I'm trying to help you all out. If you are okay with infinitely struggling and hustling and working hard, be my guest. I'm not going to fight for you and try to, force you to do what I think is the right thing or whatever. If you want to live life on hard mode, go ahead. I don't know you. I don't get paid to help you come to Japan. I don't get paid to help you get a job in your respective home country. I don't get some sort of commission for encouraging you to go to university. Whatever you do has no effect on me whatsoever. I don't give a shit. And like I said, actually, the more of you that stupidly do not pursue higher education, and more importantly, don't pursue relevant good degrees, meaning not dumb shit that leaves you jobless and with a low salary upon graduation. The more of you that choose stupid fields to go into, that don't go to university, the less competition there will be for my children in the future, myself in the future, as well as my viewers that actually listen to what I have to say. If you don't want it, then fine, okay? Like, the fuck y'all want me to do? You want me to be like, no, please, and beg? I said this shit to you all before. I'm not your mama. Look, if your mama loved you, she'd tell you what I'm telling you right now. Sorry, I guess she don't. So, anyway, let me get off of that. Your situation does not change the rules. Just because you decide to be inside of an open relationship does not mean now I have to pretend like open relationships are okay because you're in one. And I will say that I find that a lot of people struggle with this a hell of a lot. And I would argue the black community arguably has a harder time with this. Maybe the black and Asian community in particular. But I'm going to speak on black people in particular because I'm black, alright? I notice that if you talk about something that they have inside of their family or their personal selves or their friend or whatever has done, they get super offended over it. Now, I don't know what race this person is. I'm just giving you an example. I don't know what race the person left the comment is. And so it's like, because they're in an open relationship, now I have to pretend like all forms of open relationships are okay because you're in one. If your mother did something, now everyone that does this, it's now okay because they're in that situation. For example, I cannot tell you how many baby mamas I went to school with, and now all of a sudden, now that your marriage fell apart or your long-term boyfriend didn't work out, now suddenly marriage is stupid, it's a waste, it doesn't matter, it doesn't, right, of course, because your relationship didn't work out, so now it's stupid. But you were the same bitch bragging about how wonderful it was to be married, etc. It's like, I said this before. I don't base what I say off of my opinions. I base it off of reality. If I get a divorce, I will still be singing the same song that I told y'all before. I almost got divorced multiple times since I've been married. I ain't even been married that long. I've signed the papers and everything. Had my husband in tears. Okay? And look, he did it to me too. And with that said, you want to know what? I will still continue to say the same thing. I don't care if I get a divorce. I don't care if I never got married. I was saying this before I got married. My advice remains the same because it's not based on me. It's based on reality. It's based on the real world. And most of you are not capable of doing that. You base your advice and opinions, I made a video on this already, on what you're doing or on what people that you know are doing. And if it goes against what they're doing, in order to avoid offending the people that you love and know, you change what the truth is. Well, listen, sweetheart, the truth doesn't change around here, not on my channel. Monogamy is normal. And all that type of bullshit that y'all trying to do to make yourselves feel better because you're desperate and you have low self-esteem, or you're horny, you just want to fuck people and get money and have fun for whatever reason, have trains ran on you, which again is extreme. I mean, think about it as a woman. What are you truly getting out of that? Because let's just keep it real. Most of the people that you're going to be dealing with are not paying you money, alright? And what they are giving you, is it worth adding? I mean, body counts are stupid, but in a nutshell, giving people access to your body is dangerous. Is it worth it? No. And let's also keep it real. Most of the people that you're going to be sleeping with are not going to be making you come. You're not going to have an orgasm as a female. So what are you getting out of this? And also, couldn't you just find a monogamous partner that will do that? Get to know your body regularly instead of sleeping with random men or having 2 men that you consistently see and God knows how many people they're seeing too. There is no such thing as no ethical open relationship. It's all bullshit. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna put on my liberal hat, and I know Republicans do this shit too, but I feel like it's a lot more of you on the left side, but I'm not gonna put some magical hat on and make you all feel good about yourselves and lie to you, because it's what you choose to do. And also, if you actually watch the video, I'm not judging your lifestyle. I was actually responding back to a video that I watched on a man who actually was judging monogamy. It was basically I'm not gonna say what the video is about, watch it yourself. Long story short, he was trying to make women seem like they're horrible for wanting a hypergamous relationship and make it seem like men are being hurt because they're being forced to be in monogamous relationships they never asked for. And the dumbest thing about it is, and I can't even remember what race the guy was. I couldn't even find the video if I tried to look for it because I didn't save it, unfortunately. But I think it was like a guy that was like talking at a whiteboard or whatever, was like writing everything down. I think it was an ad or something. I don't even think I clicked on a video. I think it was an ad or something like that. I don't remember anymore. But long story short, like an ad for a video, like a regular YouTuber, like, paid for that or something. Long story short, here goes my thing. I find it even dumber when I hear it come from poor people or black people, because I'm thinking to myself, the majority of you all, or at least these people in this category, you have no money. Okay? You can't even afford one wife. Why are you looking for 2? And also, if you're not planning to get married, like, as a woman, like, use your brain. What self-respect a woman will want a relationship like that? And let me also twist this too. Let me just say the quiet part out loud. Something that some of you all never thought of, and this is going to really offend y'all open relationship hoes. How many beautiful women do you see actively seeking poly and open relationships? 0. You want to know why? Beautiful women know their worth. The only women that actively pursue endless 5-10 year relationships, poly relationships, open relationships, are women with low self-esteem, or they're ugly. Oops. Is that what you wanted to hear? Well, I said it. And I ain't even gonna argue with you. Argue with your mama. Take it up with Jesus. Just think about it. Look around for a second. Who do you see that wants that type of relationship? I'm just saying. Now, the same can be said for men, but you want to know why? Because it benefits men. You're not getting anything out of being inside of an open relationship unless you are using men for their money. And most men that are looking for an ethical, open relationship, they don't have money. I'm not talking about gold digging, sugar daddy dating, whatever. I've talked about that type of stuff before. That's different. I'm talking solely, strictly about like real relationships in which you are in an open marriage or an open relationship. That is not love. And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna change the rules for that to make you feel good about a dumb decision that you made. I feel sorry for you that you don't love yourself and respect yourself enough, and that your self-esteem is so low that you're willing to accept that. And another reality is too, if that man, if you actually love him, if he were to ask you to marry him or be in an exclusive relationship, you would jump up and do it. Unless you don't really love him. And in that case, like I said, you're just hoeing around and having fun. Which I can get the appeal of doing that short term. Nobody wants to do that for the rest of their lives. Like I said before, you ain't never heard about nobody being inside of no open relationship, or poly relationship until they die. That's 20-year-old, 30-year-old, possibly even 40-year-old shit. You get in your 60s, 70s, 80s, you want a lifelong partner as a husband and or wife. You are not looking for a fuck buddy. That's basically what they are. An ethical F buddy. Get out of here with that shit. So, yeah, you didn't make it clear. Are you complaining because you think that I'm being offensive to monogamous relationships? Because that's not what I was saying. But if that were the case, like I said, if you know that monogamy is right and the other way is wrong, why are you so triggered? Also, why is your dumbass clicking on content that's clearly making you triggered? Because you implied that you watched other videos about the same topic. In fact, you're again implied that you watched a video from me on the same topic, which makes me wonder, did you? And two, if you did, bitch, why are you still watching that same shit if it's bothering you so much? You want to know what I do? When I click on shit that I did not like and did not agree with or whatever that bothers me, I don't keep watching it. And I sure as hell don't leave a comment on it. Like, what? And again, clarify what you're talking about. Are you saying that you feel offended because I'm calling out non-monogamous relationships? Or are you saying that you feel offended because I'm calling out monogamous ones? Because I think that you might have just watched the video or look at the title and didn't actually watch the video. Because apparently you think that I was being either offensive to monogamous relationships by bashing those because I said monogamy is bad in the title, or you may have actually watched it or listened to a little bit of it and it's like, but I'm in a poly relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I'm not going to lie to you, make you feel... Like, for example, tattoos. There are plenty of you watching my content. In fact, I'm sure that most of you have a tattoo. Guess what? I'm about to offend you. You're an idiot. You're a dumbass. I don't care if it's cultural. They're stupid. There, I said it. Tattoos are dumb. They make it hard for you to travel. They make it hard for you to get a job. People judge you based on your tattoos, and there's literally no outfit that I could think of in which a tattoo enhances it and makes it look good. Most of you already look disgusting as fuck when you take your clothes off. The last thing you need is a tattoo on your nasty, fat, sloppy, saggy, non-muscular skin, and especially as you get older. There, I said it. You're stupid. Why do you want to spend your whole life having to cover up and put makeup on and wonder what your partner is going to think? I don't care if you have one of those tattoos that are hidden. Okay, well then look at being in Japan, going to onsen, etc. Why do you want to have to make life hard? I think it's even dumber when I see people that live in Japan that actively pursue tattoo artists in Japan and get a tattoo there. Now I get if you plan to go back to your home country, whatever, and be stupid there, but they're dumb. Now most of you don't want to hear that because you have one. Well, I don't make content based off of what you do, and I'm not talking about you. I'm telling the truth. And if the shoe fits, lace that bitch up and wear it. It's literally that simple. A lot of you all can't handle hearing stuff like that because you think about yourself. Guess what? I'm almost 30 years old. I've said this before. And you want to know what? My advice remains the same. The older you are, the harder it is to date. And typically, you really start to notice it right at 30, but honestly, your late 20s. By the time that you turn 26 and up, you start to realize you are getting way less engagement on dating apps. Men aren't looking your way so much. And when they find out your age, they lose interest. Or at least they're more interested in the younger girlies. Guess what? Same thing goes for weight. The bigger you are, the less people are going to be interested in you. Myself included. See, most of you can't do that because everything's based on you, your friends, your family. You can't tell the truth. So anyway, I can go on and on and on ranting about this. Sorry. Open relationships are stupid, and look at the people who want them. Men that are using you, and women with low self-esteem that are desperate. And to be honest, if you got a boyfriend you've had for, over 5 years or whatever, you might as well be inside an open relationship because you being a stupid ass bitch. I'm just keeping it real. Any man that is... Look, I get it. If y'all teenagers or whatever, fine. Fuck it. I'm talking about grown people. Once you are 20 plus years old... In fact, I'll even give y'all a break. I'll say 21. He does not need 5 years to decide whether or not you are a wife. He's waiting for something better to come along. It's that simple. Ask that man, would he be okay with you going out and sleeping with other people? Ask yourself, do you not realize that men and women want different stuff out of relationships? We like security. For us, the security of being married is the equivalent of men busting their nut, having an orgasm, being with a young woman. So what do you get that's the equivalent of that when you're inside of an open relationship? Nothing. Just think about it. You're not getting any. Like, this is the reason why men always talk about money when I was like, y'all don't get it. Women prefer money and stability over sex. Men do not. That's why they pay for it. It is an even exchange. Men are willing to wine and dine and buy handbags and pay for nice meals in order to sleep with a beautiful woman. A preferably young and beautiful woman. Whereas for women, we are willing to spend time on our hair and makeup and starving ourselves and buying nice, fancy, flashy outfits, etc. Trying to enhance our butt and our breasts and our waist, etc. Wearing painful shoes. Because we want the money, the gifts, the stability of having a husband. It's that simple. Men almost always look out for themselves. If you were to sleep with a man and he doesn't come, you might not be sleeping with him again. But women, we'll marry you. You ain't gotta ever give us an orgasm. Like, just think about that. Men make sure they get what they want out of the relationship. And a lot of you all are too codependent, too desperate, and you don't even realize it. You're being prideful. You do desire marriage. You do desire monogamy. But you feel like you can't get it. Made another video on this already. So you've convinced yourself that you don't want it. It's stupid. It's not for everyone. When the reality is, you can't get the person that you want to do these things for you. So you've convinced yourself that you don't want this at all, and that it's dumb, and it's not for everyone, and yeah, you're okay with this. You like what you're doing. No, ma'am, your heart was broken by your ex, and so now you don't trust men, so you've convinced yourself that you're happy, freely being fucked by random men and accepting money, etc. Or not even doing that, because we're talking about normal open relationships, right? We're not talking about sugar dating and whatnot. Look, I've been and did all of that stuff. I'm speaking from experience, not on my hours. I'm telling you, from personal experience, it is a matter of low self-esteem. Because what are you getting out of that? We're not talking about being a sugar baby. We're talking about strictly relationships, real relationships. Why, as a woman, would you want an open relationship? You're holding on to somebody that doesn't want you. Why, as a woman, would you want to be with a man that's willing to let you go? Because any man that's okay with dating you for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years without putting a ring on it, he's literally saying, I'll wait out and see if I can find somebody better. He's saying, I'm okay if you leave because I don't want you that bad. If he wanted you, he would. And while you're busy thinking, he needs time to save for a ring, for a wedding. Right. And the next girl that comes along that he actually likes more than you, he will marry her immediately. It happens all the time. It really does. Instead of wasting your time and lying to yourself, move on and find someone who does want an exclusive relationship. Find someone who does want to marry you. Men, same thing goes for you. I don't care what you got inside your pants or how broke you are. If she needs to see other men in order to stay with you, she don't love you. Find another woman who does. It's really that simple. Nobody is going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. Find someone who you are their cup of tea. It's literally that simple. I'm going to use myself. I'm not going to sit around and argue with somebody who, look, I've dated people like that who decided they don't want marriage. I will give you an ultimatum. Look, this is what I'm looking for. If you're not looking for it, that's fine. I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince and sell you on the idea of marriage. I will tell you what I want, what I'm looking for, and if you're not looking for that too, okay, cool. I'm out. Like, it's literally that simple. Why am I going to waste my time trying to say, please marry me, please? No. I feel sad that you don't want that like how I do. But I got to keep moving. I ain't got time to waste. Pick up the little bit of pride and dignity that you have left and leave. Okay, one more thing. Something else that I forgot to mention in all of this is that oftentimes you're being lied to when a guy tells you that he wants an open relationship. And let me also clarify and specify this too, or clarify, I should say. As I said earlier, a lot of the times women will pretend like they too themselves want to have an open relationship. And I can assure you, unless this girl has daddy issues, mental illness, some sort of weird fetish, or again, low self esteem, has the idea that she's never going to get married, no one's ever going to really want her, and oftentimes this is the most common reason. If I'm more into this or whatever, willing to allow other partners in the room, he will want to marry me eventually, or he'll date me seriously. And the whole idea, oh, men are going to cheat anyway, type thing. And that's all a whole other story. I'm not going to get into that for this video. But those are oftentimes, again, things rooted in pride. You have the mindset of he's going to cheat anyway. So at this point, I'll say he cheated on me. I'll just say it's an open relationship, an open marriage, open whatever. So anyway, this is the bigger thing that I want to talk about right now, though. A lot of the time, and girls, you're going to hate to hear this, but it's the truth. A man will say, I don't want a monogamous relationship. I don't want marriage. What they really mean is, I don't want this with you. If the right person comes along, he will do the same thing, spend more money, do it bigger, do it better. Everything that you asked him to do, he will do without even having to be asked for the right woman. Or he may have to be asked, but only once. His unwillingness to commit to you is him saying, I don't want you, not I don't want marriage at all. And this is where it gets confusing. Most men, when confronted, they're not going to say, I don't want it with you. They'll just say, no, 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 that's not true. Just not right now. It's too soon. It's too whatever. Translation, I don't want to ruin a good thing. You're fun to sleep with. You might really be gorgeous, but they don't envision themselves getting married at their age. Or maybe they are older, but their mindset is, you're not good enough. Yeah, you look good, but you're not the best look. I know I could probably get better. Or you look really good, but do I really want to pick up the baggage of another man and deal with a girl that, has 3 kids already? Or you look really good, but your family's crazy. So yeah, I'd just keep it this way. Or you look really good, but their mindset is like, hey, she was too easy. I was able to sleep with her on the first date. I would want my wife to be like that. These all sound crazy and stupid because like this literally benefited you. She cut the games and crap and slept with you the first night. But nope, men will hold that against you. And this is all men know, but a lot of them do. And keep in mind, it's not even a matter of them actively having a checklist like how women do per se, but it's more so a matter of their, I can't even explain it, biologically, they're conscious, whatever you want to call it, subconsciously. They have judged you based off how easy of a catch you were. And the best way that I can give this to you in an example is women like men that are emotionally available, blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest, ladies, if a guy is overly available, overly nice, what happens? They end up getting friend zone, put into the, oh, he's a nice guy, but type category. Not to encourage men to be jerks, but psychologically, we just want what we cannot have. Also, we judge people differently based on little things. Think about it. If a guy is tall, he's naturally going to be seen as more attractive to us than a shorter man. A man can be average looking in the face, but because he's tall, he's seen as handsome. The reverse is not true. If you want to be seen as handsome as a short man, you better be damn handsome. You got to be very handsome to make up for your height. So, anyway, all I'm going to say is this. You will hear men say, I don't want marriage right now. No, yeah. We don't need to put a label on it type thing. But really what they're saying is, I don't want this with you. They will take that with someone else. This also goes back into what I'm saying about why you should not be okay with these poly, non-monogamy, non-monogamous, unmonogamous, whatever the word is. You shouldn't be okay with these sort of relationships. They do no service for you. They waste your time, waste your life, waste your youth, and even if you don't want kids per se, the fact that you're willing to be in a relationship is proof enough that you do want marriage. It's proof enough that you do. And the only reason why you even hear women saying, oh, it's just a piece of paper, it doesn't matter, blah, 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 is because they are speaking out of pride and out of fear, and they're echoing what the men who claim to love them have told them to say, think, and believe. It's the same as the whole little girl boss trick. Women who could not get the men that they want have the mindset of, well, I can't get the man that I want, so I'm going to make the money that I wish a man made and spent on me. And they're trying to convince you, you don't need a man, just make a ton of money. Yeah, that's all you need. Then you can live the life you want. Well, I can assure you, making the money to be able to buy yourself the bags, the rings, etc. Yes, it's nice and offers security, and I'm 100% for that. However, It is not going to replace having a man for you if that's what you desire. And keep in mind, no, marriage is not for everyone. Not everyone desires to be married, to have children. But if you're going to continue to date, you do at least want marriage. You do. That's the purpose in dating. It's like applying for jobs and then saying, well, I don't actually want a job. I just, just want to fill out some job applications. And whatever happens, happens. That's what you sound like. Translation, I do want a job, but I'm afraid nobody's going to hire me. So to save my pride, I don't want to say I'm looking for a job. I just want to, put a few applications out there and, see what happens, test the waters. That's how stupid you sound right now when you say this. And again, I'm not ever going to judge you because I've said dumb things like that too. I'm just explaining that I don't want you to be inside that category anymore. I want you to be honest with yourself. Is this really what I want? And the answer is going to be no. Because why do you think you want that? Why do you think this is normal? Okay, and again, men are not doing what you're doing. When men are not being satisfied in a relationship, they leave. When women are not, they make up excuses and they stay. And again, a lot of it just goes back to simply pride. We're foolish too, and we believe dumb shit. If a guy tells us, oh, I don't want marriage, we believe it. You don't even think twice because you're like, I'm gorgeous. He likes me, said that I'm beautiful. He slept with me. He nutted in me. He didn't wear a condom. So clearly he thinks that I'm attractive. Those are the lies that you try to tell yourself. But the reality is no, he does want a monogamous relationship. He just does not desire that from you. And if the truth is, for some crazy reason, that he does not want that, I can assure you the answer may be no now. But in a few years, the answer will be yes. And you might think, oh, then I should stick around. No, 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 no. When he is ready, he's not going to want the washed up has-been that he's been with for like the past 10 years. He's going to look for a new experience that's younger and better looking than you when he is ready. Thus, you are wasting your time. Leave him, kick him to the curb, and find a man that is ready now. And if that means dating an older man, I'm 100% for it. Granted, within reason, a man that can provide, a man that treats you well, and that is a little bit older than you, I am okay with. I'm not encouraging you to marry some 70-year-old dude when you're 18 years old. Do not twist my words. But I am saying I do think a big problem with these relationships and why they don't work, and not that these relationships are perfect either, but I do believe that a big mistake I see people make is marry people that are too young. I think that a lot of women, especially when they're younger, their mindset is date guys that are their age. And to me, that is a huge mistake because the men your age, they're broke, they're struggling, they're still in school, they just graduated, they're busy having fun, partying, etc. You don't want to deal with that because those men are not going to be serious 99% of the time. They're looking for a good time and fun. The best advice you'll ever get is to date men that are at least, in my opinion, 5 years older than you are. At least. That's my own personal rule. Do what you want. I'm not going to judge you for doing otherwise, but I'm just saying. If you're 25 years old and you're dating a 25-year-old, you are significantly increasing the chances that you're going to be dealing with an F-boy, a situationship, I don't want to get married type person. But the reality is, I personally feel like men are best to date when they're somewhere in their mid to late 30s, early 40s, in my opinion. Because yes, while F-boys still exist, a lot of them have had their fun, they've mellowed out, and they're more serious. They're looking for something for real. They're done playing around. They know what they want. They know what to do. They've already broken other girls' hearts, and she's pretty much already built the man up to what you want him to be. If he gets to the point where this man is now, 35 plus years old, and he's still playing games, he's still, I don't know, he just doesn't like you, I promise you. When he meets the right person, he will want marriage. He will buy rings. He will pay for dates. You are just not the one. Do not let these men trick you into thinking monogamy is bad, it's stupid. No, 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 no. They can't afford to take care of the type of woman that they want. And you do not look like the type of woman that they want. You do not have the personality. You do not have the lifestyle of the woman that they want. It is a hard, tough cookie to chew on, pill to swallow, but it is the reality. I am not everyone's cup of tea. There are plenty of men that think I'm the ugliest, most disgusting thing in the world. And I've dealt with men who they told me, hey, I don't want marriage. And back then, my mindset was, oh, he just doesn't want marriage. When the reality was, no, he doesn't want marriage with me because he doesn't like me. I am not truly his type. I've had men that had no problem sleeping with me. But the idea of being my boyfriend was like, whoa, slow down. We're not going to do that. And again, like now that I'm using myself, does that make you feel better that I'm deflected? Not deflected, but you know what I mean? Instead of making it seem like I'm attacking you, I'm using myself as an example. And that's what I was saying, that people get stuff wrong. They have the mindset of, oh, she thinks she's better than everyone, blah, blah. No, I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm telling you that I lived this. I went through this. So you don't have to. If you are wise, you'll listen to what I'm saying and be like, hey, let me take some notes. The Bible tells you only a fool learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. You listen to other people that have done the dumb shit that you're about to do, and you decide, you know what? I'm about to do that too. And her outcome didn't sound too good to me. Maybe I should avoid that. Instead of internalizing everything and thinking everyone's just hating on you, or I'm a misogynist and I hate older women. No, I'm just being honest with you. I live in reality. I will be 40 in 10 years. I don't get to change the rules because of my age. I don't get to change the rules because of what I wish things would be or how I wish people looked or dressed or whatever else. Because otherwise, why would I not want things to be in my favor? I would be lying to you if I said otherwise. It's not about what I think or what I feel, and I don't give advice based on that. Because trust me, fine, I can backpedal on some things that I said. I don't really understand why tattoos are such a big deal. I don't like them. I still think that they're stupid. But I do think that it's interesting how people act like they're the scariest thing in the world, and how something being written on you is seen as unprofessional. But I understand it because it's just a part of culture. And because I do agree, well, if you know that something's going to potentially make life harder for you, why get one in the first place? That's my mindset towards it because of that. If I were to really put my own opinion into it, that's what I really feel. I don't truly believe that you're lesser than because you have one. But I'm not going to lie and pretend like people that typically get those are some of the brightest people that I've met, because that would not be the truth. So, again, like I live in reality. Same thing goes for relationships. I was giving you all dating advice and I didn't even have a boyfriend at the time. I'm not going to steer you wrong because I don't have what I want. You can give advice on things and be right about stuff without actually having it yourself. But like I said before, people that have been through the opposite oftentimes have the best advice to give because they can tell you why not to do the opposite, why not to be broke, why not avoid paying your bills, etc., so that you don't go through the eviction, so you don't go through getting your lights cut off like I did. Like, if you just listen to people that have everything perfect, they have the diamond ring, they have the big nice house, they have the husband, they have the 5 kids, they have the picket fence, a lot of them have never even experienced the other side of things. So they can talk about things like it's a breeze, whereas the person actually got it out of the mud and struggled to get it, they got some real advice to give you along the way. Like, hey, like, this looks like a shortcut, but don't go this route. I did that. Those are the type of people that you should want to listen to, too. You can have balance. You don't have to listen to all people that their whole life is all my life I had to fight. But I also think it's silly just listen to people who tell you exactly what you want to hear. And keep in mind, a lot of people aren't telling you the truth. And that's what I was getting at with this. Like, a lot of people go around acting like they don't want monogamy. They don't care. It's not important. Marriage is just a piece of paper. Right. Because you can't get it. But if you had it, you'd be sitting on here like, oh, marriage is so important, guys. You have to get married. But as soon as your relationship doesn't work out, now all of a sudden marriage is a waste and it's stupid. These are the type of people that you don't want to be friends with, don't want to hang out with, don't want to listen to. Because they're not being honest with you. Their advice is based on themselves, on their friends, on their family. That's not honesty. That's disingenuous. Because it's not the way that the truth works. Me turning 30 years old is not going to make me say, you know what? Actually, men love girls in their 30s. It's a lie. No, I can recognize I might look young and I can trick somebody into thinking that I'm in my 20s still. But that doesn't suddenly change the rules. I can also recognize I may look like this, but you may not. I can also recognize I look like this today, but I might not in 6, 7 years. You see what I'm trying to say? So, whatever. I just want to clarify that. It's not just a matter of him saying he doesn't want monogamy. It's also the unwritten, unspoken words of he doesn't want it with you. Which means that you're being a fool by giving him this open relationship when really, if the right girl were to come along, he will dump all three of y'all side hoes, or two of you, and decide, you want to know what? I want to be just with this person. Do not let him play you. You are not worthy of monogamy to that man or those men. That's not every man. Just not that specific one that you want. And if you feel this strongly and teary-eyed and cry-eyed, or whatever you want to call it, teary-eyed over this dude, imagine how much stronger you would feel towards a man that actually loves and treats you right in the future. Stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Stop selling yourself short. You are literally insulting yourself by settling for a non-monogamous, poly, whatever you want to call it, relationship. No man that loves you would even ask you for that, because he would be afraid of losing you. If he's struggling with his little sex demons or whatever, let him be. Let him go. Be grateful that he did you a favor by letting you know this is what he wants, so that now you can say, nope, the fact that you want that is enough for me to leave. Because now I know that you are not going to be satisfied in a relationship. And it will hurt at first, but it is worth it to just let him go. Because you're going to hurt yourself a lot more trying to stick around and then realizing that he's cheating on you. Every man ain't worth saving, trying to be with. You can't force someone to love you. But you can force yourself to love you. That is always an option. And it's an option that I highly suggest that you take. So that's all. I'll make another video talking about this topic, but I just want to clarify that, because as I was playing this back, I was like, wait, hold on, they're not going to get this right. Let me clarify. He can say something and not mean what he's saying. He can say, I don't like monogamy, monogamy is bad, and then turn right back around 3 years, 2 years later, pop up with another chick. Shoot, she might not even look better than you. She going to be more busted than you and 3 years older than you were back then. And he going to marry her. And fuck, I'll make it even worse. She's going to be 5 years older than you are right now. And he going to marry her. And be faithful to her. Even though he wasn't to you. He didn't give you that option. So don't think that because of what you're being told and what things are like for you, that's how he is with everyone. And don't be a dumb bitch and think he's going to be honest with you if you ask him. Ain't no man going to honestly say, oh yeah, I'm only saying this to you because you're not my type. But yeah, if you were this girl, I'd definitely marry you. No man ain't going to say that to you. You're not going to tell you the truth. You got to use your own brain and think for yourself. And again, just ask yourself, is this what I want my story to be like? Do I want to be trying to fight with some dude on why he should only want to be with me? Or do I want to save myself a ton of stress and energy and just say, you know what? Let him go and be free. Wait for the next guy to come along who does want an exclusive relationship with just me. And it will be worth it. You all give up too easily. So, okay, I'm done. Back to the video. Like I said, I'm doing a whole nother separate whatever thing on this. But I just hate hearing that, because I instantly think, girl, he don't want to read you. Because I'm also going to keep it real. It's not everyone, but 99% of the people that I see inside these open relationships, they don't look good. And the ones that do look good, yeah, they look good, but she got like 3 kids on the side from another dude. So she's going to struggle to get into a relationship. And so her mindset is, because I'm having difficulty attracting what I want, I'm going to settle for this guy because at least he still does XYZ. At least he still does look good. And if I got to share him, okay, whatever. If he doesn't want to get married, okay, whatever. I guess I don't want it either. Men don't do that. There's always somebody out there. There's some low self-esteem man. I've seen it before. Men making posts about their wife, not being satisfied. I have a mic or whatever. I've read everything. But again, at the same time, I'm going to keep it real. This is mostly a female problem. And that's because we handle relationships very different. We will deal with being unsatisfied, unhappy, our needs not being met, not being financially secure. Men don't do that. If it gets to the point where there's too many boxes that you are not checking off from a man perspective, he'll let you go. Some men are dumb enough to stick around when the sex isn't there or is bad even without you having kids. But if they're not getting their sexual needs met, you're not caring about how you look, you're not trying to look beautiful for him, you don't care about pleasing him in bed, you don't care about cooking and cleaning, you're emotionally, he's getting out of there. He's not going to stay in that situation anymore. It wouldn't make any sense. So, okay, now I'm officially done. Back to the video. We got to talk about this stuff later, you guys. I'm getting into my own little world over here. Because that's exactly what he would do. Try telling a man you're not going to give him sex. You're not going to support him. You're not going to listen to him at all. You're not going to cook and clean. Guess what? He will quickly get up, leave, and find a woman that would do all of that shit. But we as women, we don't. We just sit around and hope, oh, he's really handsome and tall. And he has a good job. So I'm going to put up with being abused and being treated like shit and hope that things change. Or at least now I can brag and say that I have a boyfriend. A partner. So now look at how embarrassing that is. It's one thing for your partner to cheat on you. You can't control that. But to openly, just decide, I care so little about myself. My self-esteem is so low. I've decided I'm not granting, really, my boyfriend, whatever, permission to infinitely cheat on me. Or to cheat on me with selected partners that we both agree with. Do you hear how dumb that sounds? Come on, y'all. So it's so much crazy shit out here. And the other reality is too, look at how easy it is to get people to buy into stuff. Nobody was supporting this stuff until social media. When did this stuff start trending? Maybe 10, 11 years ago, whatever. It was the new trendy thing to be in a poly open relationship. It's y'all don't think for yourselves. Whatever society decides is popular, cool, trendy, you do it. And that goes for everything that you could think of. Anything. Whether it be music, vaccines, anything that you could think of. If society decides, this is cool. This is okay. Everyone, look, abortion. Everything that people do is based on what other people do. Nobody thinks of themselves. People look at their political parties, they look at celebrities, they look at their friends. They don't think for themselves. It's all about what is everyone else doing. I don't want to stand out. I don't want to be a weirdo. I want to fit in. And you want to know what? I used to be like that too. And then I recognized, like I said before, I would have so much trouble living with myself, recognizing that I'm not being myself. And sometimes every once in a while I feel you know what? I don't want to talk about that topic because it's going to make people mad, or I'm going to lose subscribers, or I don't even know that I'm pro-life. It's you don't want to talk about certain things because it's going to offend certain people, right? But then it's do I really want to keep people on my channel that don't support the truth? Do I want to keep dumb people on my channel that I have to lie to in order to entertain and be... if I have to pretend to support, agree with, and be something that I am not, do not, whatever... I'd rather just lose you. I would rather lose you than myself, because I'm going to lose myself both mentally and physically if I have to spend my whole life lying to be politically correct to make you feel good about your dumb decisions. And if you were smart, you would think, why is this bitch telling me something different from everybody else? Maybe I'm not the bad one, the wrong guy, whatever. Maybe I'm the right one. Did it ever cross their mind? No, because everything is about a popularity contest. Just like with comments. I leave some comments in which, somebody ratioed me, as you young people say. I leave some of those up on my channel. You want to know why? Because that's not my goal. I am not in I've already lost. I am not in a popularity contest to prove to you that something is or is not the truth. I try to debate things and, argue it. It's fun to me and I enjoy, talking about these topics and ranting on them. But at the end of the day, that's not my job. If you decide that you want to live in ignorance, you're going to do that. There's nothing I can say or do that will change that. I try to challenge these topics to help out my subscribers and people that do authentically want to learn and listen. But if you are determined and your goal is just to be right and you want to start a new argument and, create fallacies and fallacious arguments, there's nothing I can do about that. So sure, you can win in the likes, you can win in the comment section, have the most likes or whatever, and everybody agree with you. But you can also still be wrong. And this is the crazy thing too that people seem to not understand. Everyone can be against you. And everyone can be wrong. Think about it. You ever had a moment in class where you raised your hand, or maybe the teacher even called on you, and you gave an answer, and everyone laughed at you, or everyone had a different answer from you, and you were the only one that chose C, and the whole class chose A. And now you kind of feel oh fuck, maybe the answer was A. You see what I'm saying? It's scary, right? Because if there's 25 students, 24 of them chose A. You're the only bitch that chose C. Naturally, you feel like you're wrong. They actually did a test on this years ago. I can't remember where it was, but it was some sort of test where they did it with the classroom setting, and it showed that people will change their answer based on their peers. So even if they know that the right answer is something else, in order to avoid being singled out and being the only one that votes this way, people will change their answer to the wrong answer just to fit in and be right. And that goes for everything. Anything you could think of, whether it be topics of war, politics, anything you could think of, people will try to fit in and do whatever everybody else is doing, even if they know it's wrong in their heart. And I sometimes struggle with that too, but I stop myself every time because I'm like, nope, I would much rather lose you than myself. I gotta be selfish. I would rather lose you. If you are not okay with me telling you the truth, then fine. Fuck off. Be gone, bitch. Look, I'm not gonna waste my time trying to fit in and change my opinions to be little sheep like how you are. And I get it, you all like that, but it's just not for me. And that's the reason why, like I said, I will never fully align with either political party. I like some things from the Democrat side and I like some things from the Republican side. And you wanna know what? I recognize that even although I feel like I lean more towards the Republican side, I ultimately can't. Because when you look at how they lead themselves, like everything that they complain about with liberals, they do the exact same thing just in reverse. And the same thing with liberals. Everything they complain about Republicans, y'all do the same shit just in reverse, and y'all don't even fucking realize it. It's just like how, like, you know, if you watch content that is hyper fixated on, like, you know, the, I don't know, women's sphere, whatever you want to call it, and hyper fixated on the men's sphere, red pill, whatever, it's like when you actually listen to both of them, you start to realize, like, some of y'all, like, are kind of, you know, off a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, they both be making points. But it's like, when you start getting too deep into it, it's like, you get to the point where it's like, come on, like, y'all gotta be able to see the other side a little bit. So, but people can't do that, though. People get extreme and radical with it. So anyway, do I have to play dumb and pretend like I don't see any appeal whatsoever to a girl to explore open relationships? Of course I see the appeal. Your man has a small dick, he's broke, and you can get money from another guy. You just want to experience having a threesome or sleeping with another guy. Maybe it's more fun. You guys do different positions. I understand. There are things, and even dates, it goes beyond just sex, that you can get from being with a different partner. I understand. But I'm also going to be honest with you. No. Sin is normal to desire. It's normal to desire. Okay? I understand wanting to do bad. For example, if you were to ask me to answer honestly, I have most certainly thought about taking someone's life before. However, it's a very different thing to act on it than for, you know, doing it and thinking about it are two different things, okay? Here goes another honest thing that you're not supposed to say out loud, right? Have I thought about cheating on my husband? Yeah, sure. And you want to know what? I'm sure he's thought about cheating on me before. And you want to know what? I can't control him. I can only control myself. Maybe he has, and I just don't know. Maybe he's going to, and I don't know. I can't control, and I cannot predict the future, and that's not my goal or job. And you want to know what? Because I tell the truth, and I don't base it off of my life, my, you know, opinion, my feelings. It does not matter what he does or what happens to my future relationship. I will remain the same. I will continue to say monogamy is best and it is normal. And all this new wave trying to normalize cheating, and don't get me wrong, I know that back in the day people had multiple wives, and you want to know what? It was still stupid back then too. Like, that's the other problem too. Tradition does not mean, you know what else used to be normal? People used to justify that black people were not human, and, you know, we were, you know, derived from gorillas and apes and monkeys. Okay, so that's traditional science. Is that right? Shoot, some people still believe that shit. So it's like, well, where do we draw the line? That's also a fallacy too. Fallacy of tradition, or whatever it's called. Don't get me wrong, I see the temptation, but something being old does not make it right. Something being the way it's always been done does not make it the right or the best way to do things. And again, it's your life. You want to be fucked around and used, I feel sorry for you, but I can't convince you otherwise. I'm just speaking the truth. And like I said, the biggest wake-up call to you should be, what are you getting out of it? Because it's obvious that men are getting out of it. But the reality is, most of you that are messing around multiple men, have multiple partners, you're not getting money from all these dudes. And also the reality is, most open relationships mean that he's going to have 2 girls and you're just going to be with him. Does that sound fair to you? And sure, you could have one of those relationships where you're, I don't know, bisexual and you're enjoying both of them. Okay, but like I said, at the end of the day, It is only normal to want to have a monogamous relationship. It is 100% normal to want to dabble into things. And I'd even say it's normal to do things that are wrong, like, having multiple partners, whatever. I'm not going to judge you on that. I'm just saying, is it something that you should do? No. Is it a good thing? Absolutely not. You wanting something does not make it good. You can want to do drugs. Am I going to pretend like it's good now? Shoot, there's a whole movement of people trying to pretend like all food is good for you, when we know that's a lie. It's like, and that's the other crazy thing too. People will twist the truth to fit their current circumstance. So because you have a junk food addiction, binge eating, whatever, look at me, I can relate to that myself. Do we have to now lie and pretend like everything's healthy and all food gives you nutrition? No, that's not even true. Can we just acknowledge, no, I have an eating disorder. And while I do eat food that's not good for me, I recognize that just because I eat it doesn't make it good for me. But a lot of people can't even do that, because now, since you're fat, we have to make you feel good about yourself. So we have to pretend like, oh, there's health at every size. All food provides nutrition to the body. There's no such thing as good and bad food. It'll cause you to have a bad relationship when you get older. No. Bullshit. But we'll get into that in another video. So, ma'am, sir, whatever you want to be, your partner is not of my concern. I'm speaking facts in general. I didn't call you out. So why did you get triggered? Regardless of which way you took the video. Why did that matter to you? Hit dogs holler. Also, you choosing to live your life bad does not mean the world has to close their eyes and pretend to not see that what you're doing is wrong and or stupid. Sure, you have the freedom and right to be in a poly relationship. I can't stop you. But I'm not going to pretend like it's good and keep my mouth shut because that's what you chose to do. I have the right to still comment on the fact that you made a dumb decision. Likewise, if you don't take my advice and you decide you're not going to get a degree, you want to be a lifelong loser, I don't have to keep my mouth shut and pretend like I don't see that there's a lifelong loser that's in my comment section. Like, I can call it out. You ain't even gotta be in my comment section. I can walk past you on the street and be like, that's that son of a bitch from 5 years. And you want to know what? I have the right to acknowledge, wow, you made a bad decision. Is it appropriate to say it to you? No. But am I doing that? No, I'm not walking up to people in poly relationships saying, hey, you're a dumbass, you have low self-esteem. No, I'm on my channel and I'm talking about this topic because I can. I'm talking publicly, generally. I'm not calling out individuals. So you're the one who decided to take it personally. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with your dumbass. But, my phone just vibrated? Yeah, it did. But, alright, I need to cook. I need to get my stuff together. I can go on about this forever. Long story short, just look at women. You do not see beautiful women in these type of relationships unless they're in a sugar relationship. But I'm not talking about those right now. You don't see them as out of poly. And you might be thinking, I'm a beautiful... Not what you think, what men think. And let me also rephrase this too. You might say, well, men do think. No. Hold on, sweetheart. We're not talking about baby mamas. Because again, that goes into the low self-esteem category. You recognize that because you messed up and you had children with the wrong person, whether you were married or not married, which FYI, if you were married, you are not a baby mama, you are a single mother. But anyway, if you're inside that position, okay, you recognize you cannot easily get the type of guy that you may want. So you've convinced yourself that you want that. That's the reality. You do not see beautiful, childless women pursuing such relationships unless they have trauma or they got kids or something else. I'm just saying. Another reality that, like I said, opened up my eyes to hypergamy. Look at Asian women. You could find the one-off person, but let me tell you this. I'll say Asian women in general, because really South Asians really be on it too, but I'm going to specifically talk about East Asian women, and I'll also throw in South Asian, specifically the Filipinos. Sorry, Filipinos. I'm not really going to throw an L y'all way, but it's not quite exactly a compliment, but kind of a compliment. I'll give them props, okay? They're hypergamous. They're very hypergamous at all costs. They will deal with the ugliest, scummiest, dustiest, oldest white or black men. They don't give a fuck. They want that visa. They want that money. Okay? Go to East Asia. I don't know about Korea in particular, but I'm sure it's the same. Chinese and Japanese women, they don't fuck with you unless you got money. Come to the US. How many Asian American women do you see married to bum ass men? They don't do it. They only marry up. It is very rare to meet an Asian woman that is married to a man that is a house husband or a man that's working some convenience store job. They marry the fuck up, and they are almost always housewives. And when they do choose to work, it is truly because they chose to. But again, they have a high value man. Almost always. Are there exceptions to this rule? Yes, of course. But I'm speaking in general. And they're real quiet on the topic. You don't see them out here making videos and selling courses and loud mouthing. Nope. They just quietly give themselves advice. They tell their friends, they tell their family, their mothers talk to their daughters, their fathers talk to the daughters, and that's it. They know who to choose and how to date. And they know that what they're doing is right. They don't have to argue with you and debate with you. So when y'all be talking about y'all house husbands and strong, independent, feminist, Asian women be quiet as fuck. You have fun with that shit. While y'all busy trying to be men, we gonna take the men that still want the feminine bitches. And that's exactly what they did. They bag them rich niggas, okay? Like, they don't fuck around with the brokies. They also value marriage. Just saying. They value femininity. They value being quiet and docile and submissive. They don't try. And don't get me wrong, you can find the one-off people that do. I'm not saying all Asian women are like this. I know that. But I will say this. Most of them, they stay in cold. Black women need to work on this. Keeping it real. Y'all not going to hear that, but I'm just being honest with you. Everything's about being tough, being hard, hustling, trying to fight. You can find Asian women like that, but you're going to have a much harder time. Especially if you go to Asia. They try to maintain their image. They'll give you mean girl energy. But they don't, almost always, they try to stay within character, act feminine. They recognize their reputation matters. They don't argue and debate with you all, even when they disagree. In fact, they may speak to you one way, but look at how they move. They may say, height doesn't matter, this doesn't matter, but look at who they marry. Look at who they date. Look at who they choose. They may have a one-night stand with a Dusty, but they don't marry them. Don't be fooled by people doing what you're doing. Watch what they're really doing. Because see, people will dabble into stuff, but they won't really. Look, for example, I said this before, but some of the biggest, most richest people will swear to you, oh, universities are waste, colleges are waste, including, I love him, but he's full of shit for this, Dave Ramsey. Love his show, love his books. But it's like, why are you trying to convince people that they don't need a degree when all of your kids went to college? Sure, you might say, oh, they have to try. Yeah, right. You paid for them to go to school. But then you also tell parents that call in, oh, you don't have to pay for your kids to go to school, but it'd be nice if you do it. See what I'm saying? Rich people will give you advice that they don't take themselves. So don't be fooled by the person giving advice, because you might be thinking, oh, well, this person's rich, they're where I want to be, and they're telling me to do this, so they must be telling me the truth, right? You might be thinking, well, this person's in a poly relationship, and they're saying that they love it, so they're telling me the truth, right? But you don't know the baggage that person's carrying. You don't know what she actually wanted with that man. You don't know the conversations they had behind closed doors about how really she wanted to marry him, but he said he didn't want marriage. So she decided, okay, I'm alright being a forever girlfriend. Or he said, you know what, I want an open relationship. So she said, okay, well, if you want to see another girl, as long as I get to meet her, that's fine with me, or as long as we have a three, whatever. You don't know that side of it. And then the same people telling you that same dude pretend like he don't want to be exclusive, he will leave you for the other girl. He will marry that other girl. The same person that said, they want an open relationship and they don't believe in monogamy, right, not with you. That's insulting. Look, I do my ass a favor. I don't even look what my exes got going on. Because I'm 90% sure some of them niggas that I tried to get married to when I was in my early 20s, I'm sure some of them are married now. Probably married to a girl that they met yesterday. They weren't ready for me. but they met the right person and they say yes to her. And sometimes it can just be a matter of timing and age. I'll acknowledge that too. But oftentimes it's not that. Oftentimes it truly is you just aren't valuable to that person. I can give myself a hit to my self-esteem right now and just say it. I did not possibly look better than whoever else came along next. Could it have been the fact that they were too young and didn't want to do whatever? Sure. But it can also be another reality that they figured they could get somebody that looked better than I did. And you want to know what? Maybe they did. Ever thought about that? So, don't waste your time sitting around with somebody that does not value you. Do not allow somebody to use you and keep their options open. Because really, it's just pride. If you're in an open relationship, you never have to deal with getting cheated on, basically. It's a loophole. So this way, your pride never gets hurt. Nobody can ever catch your partner cheating on you because, oh, we're in an open relationship, so he can do whatever he wants anyway. Right. Okay, sure. So, but like I said, people will tell you to do one thing, they'll move another way. All these rich people say, oh, don't go to school, it's a waste. But meanwhile, they're sending their grandkids, their kids, their friends, their neighbors, right. But they don't want you to go to school. You'll date a person. Oh, we ain't got to put a label on it. But they'll meet another girl. Oh, please, will you marry me? Pop the question of her. Don't let these niggas play in your face. So, like I said, whatever. You want to deal with your crap? Go ahead and do it. I don't need your approval. I don't care if everyone in my comment section get mad. Look, like I said, I say controversial stuff all the time. My goal is not to offend and purposefully be controversial, but at the same time, I'm not going to lie to you to make you feel good about yourself and your dumb decisions. You want to be a dumbass? You want to make poor decisions? You want to, think based on what the world is doing and not for yourself? Be my guest, have fun. Like I said, I don't get paid one way or the other. If I convince you to agree with what I'm saying, I don't get paid. If I help you stay dumb and do what you do, I don't get paid. I get nothing out of that. There's no reward for me doing that. Nothing. Not even a congratulations, not a thank you. Because even, like I said this before, even people that watch my content, take my advice and run off with it and, get married and do whatever, they don't come back to me. Most of the time, they don't. They're not going to come back and say, oh, Ren, thank you so much. You saved my life. I went to school and became a neurosurgeon because of you. Nobody comes back and says that to me. I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart. So, we are approaching an hour, y'all. We at 58 minutes. So, let me wrap this up. I'm done. My goal was not to offend you, sir. I don't know which side you were on. But the reality is, monogamy is normal. And I don't care about you and your partner. I don't know who you are. But if you are in a non-monogamous relationship, that's done. So I'm just telling you right now. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you something different because you're in an open relationship. So I have to pretend like all, or at least yours is good. Also, if you find that content on that topic offends you, why are you consuming it more than once? Why leave a comment? Because also engaging is going to make YouTube recommend even more content like that, just to let you know. And also, I feel like you're telling yourself, hit dogs holler. If you really feel confident in your decision, why do you need my approval and acceptance? Why are you searching for somebody to agree with you? When I know something to be true, I don't need to look for the world's approval. I'm a Christian. I don't need to watch other people's videos, see what God you all are worshiping. I don't give a crap. I don't need you all's opinion on Israel, Palestine. I said it. Pro-life, pro-choice. I don't need your opinions. You want to know why? Because I already know the truth. I don't need your approval or acceptance. I can listen to people that have differing opinions from me, and sometimes I choose to do that on those topics. But I don't have to search for somebody to get your acceptance. I don't need that. Because I already know what's true. I already know what's right. If you truly believe in your heart that open relationships are right, which they're not, why are you looking for my approval? Why are you looking for someone's approval? Isn't that kind of weird? I'm going to go a little further. I know that I am a biological female. I'm a cis woman, as you guys call it, right? I don't need to watch a video on somebody telling me what gender I am. You want to know why? Because I know what the fuck I am. Whether you like me or not, you can crack jokes or whatever, but I know what I am. I can look down at my genitals and see what the fuck I am. Like, I don't need you to tell me what you think I am, what you believe I am, what you want me to be, because I know what I am. I don't look to you for approval. I don't look to you for acceptance. I also have learned from dating and just living life in general, what one person won't, oh my god, I can't speak. What one person will not do, a million other motherfuckers will. So if you don't want to marry me, cool, you're lost. Somebody else will. You don't want an exclusive relationship? Cool, somebody else does. Why am I trying to convince and persuade and beg you to want what I do? It don't matter if you got kids, you're 300 pounds, whatever the case is, somebody wants you. Wants to marry you. Somebody that you like. Be patient. Look, work on yourself. Many of you all want things, but you don't want to put in any work and no effort. You don't even deserve what you want. So, okay, we're over an hour. I'm through, you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like, leave a comment down below. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. The links for everything are inside the description box down below, as well as at the end of this video. And yeah, I guess that's all. So like I said, my goal was not to offend you, but I'm just telling the truth. Monogamy is normal, and that's what you should want and pursue. That is the purpose in dating, is to get married, not to infinitely date. And what you're doing is called having an F buddy. So I know you guys like to make it sound fancy, but this, oh, we're in a poly relationship, open. No, ma'am, you're being cheated on. That's what an open relationship is. You have accepted the fact that your partner is going to cheat on you. That is what you're doing. If you're in a poly relationship, you've decided that you're okay with being cheated on. You're going through trauma, self-esteem issues, a whole phase, whatever you want to call it. So, twist it and turn it and call it whatever you want to, whatever the new buzzword is for this year or whenever you come across this video. But I don't do that shit, because I don't base my content on trends. For example, same thing goes like with, housewives, etc. Like, it became a trend, the trad wife. Trends come and go, but the truth stays. It remains always. And that's what I like. I love that. Like, I don't care about what everybody else is doing. I just want to know what the truth is, and I'm going to stick to that and with that. So, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll watch another video.